Welcome back, everyone. This is GTA Failer, and the idea for this video comes from one of my viewers. Svibble writes, "If you're not sick of vigilante challenges by this point, I would like to propose one. It's essentially the same as something you did in one of your GTA 3 videos, kill a criminal with every weapon in the game. What makes this more of a challenge, however, is that this includes the various shotguns and SMGs and other weapons that would fill the same slot. This means you'd need to find and pick up the different variants while the clock is ticking. After Googling the amount of weapons, in specific melee weapons, it's understandable if you can't do them all, but it would be interesting to see how many different items you could use." So thank you for the idea, Spibble. This challenge sounds really fun, so here's my best attempt at it. So while we approach this first of many, many criminals, let's talk about what Spibble was mentioning there with the melee weapons, and maybe there's too many to do in the different slots. So I started this challenge with 9 different weapons on hand. I'll explain where I got each of those weapons throughout this video, but my plan is to do this first kill with the golf club, and that's what I'm holding right now. And so we're going to take this guy out, and now I've got one weapon done. The golf club is done. There are a grand total of 32 different weapons in my version of Vice City. The PS2 version had tear gas, which the PC Steam version does not. But anyway, 32 weapons, and I've done one of them, the golf club. The thing is, there are 9 different weapon slots, and like I mentioned, I'm holding 9 different weapons, but you cannot hold more than one weapon of a given kind, of a given slot. And so the golf club that I used is considered a melee weapon, like a hand-to-hand combat type thing, and I cannot hold any other melee weapons while I'm holding the golf club. So for example, the baseball bat is a melee weapon, and I can't pick up a baseball bat without letting go of the golf club, so I can't hold both of them simultaneously. Here's going to be my one kill with Molotov cocktails, so that's weapon 2 out of 32. The fists is one of the 32 weapons that we're talking about here, and the reason I'm getting it out of the way is because I also want to grab the brass knuckles, which is in the same, quote, slot, same weapon slot as the fist. I accidentally drove over that police officer, but he happens to always drop one of these melee weapons, so there's the nightstick. He also drops a pistol, and I'm holding a pistol, but I'm not holding the pistol that the police officer dropped, but I didn't bother picking up his pistol because I haven't yet used my pistol, so I'm going to use my pistol before I grab one from a police officer. You saw me pause right there. The actual pause in real life was quite a bit longer than the pause that you just saw there. I cut out most of the actual pause, and what that was representing was me going into my spreadsheet, where I've got all my weapons to use, all 32 of them listed by type, and then marking off the ones that I've already done. So we did the golf club, and then we did the Molotov, and then we did the fist, and we just did a pistol one, and then we just used the nightstick and picked up a baseball bat. And in my spreadsheet, I had to keep careful track of which weapons I've already done a kill with, and which weapons I'm currently holding and haven't yet done a kill with, and which weapons I still need to go pick up and then do a kill with. So lots of bookkeeping involved and lots of pausing, but I'm going to cut out the rest of the pauses. But you should know that pretty much like every time I do a kill or pick up a new weapon during this attempt, I paused the game and then went to my spreadsheet and marked it and then came back to the game. This next kill is going to be with the baseball bat that we acquired from killing the previous criminal. And so lots of record keeping in this attempt, lots of improvising, and just trying to come up with some way, some route to get me through all 32 weapons with at least one kill with every single weapon. So let's go back to the beginning, just make sure that we're on track in terms of which weapons we used and where I got them. Because like I said, I started this attempt with 9 weapons already in my back pocket, and you didn't see me pick those up. So let's just be clear where they came from. So the first kill was with the golf club. Obviously, I got that at the golf course. Next kill was with the Molotov cocktails. I picked that up at the one weapon spawn for the Molotovs, the Taco-apocalypse over on the western island by the Hyman safe house. Then we used our fist. Obviously, you have the fist by default. Then we did a pistol kill, the 357, which I got at one of the ammunitions, the ammunition in the North Point Mall specifically. Then I accidentally killed a police officer, and he dropped a nightstick, which I used to kill the next criminal, and that criminal dropped a baseball bat, and I used her baseball bat to kill the next criminal, and then the next criminal we used our MP, that's a submachine gun, which I picked up over at the Northern Ammunition on the Western Island. Let me just keep listing the remaining 4 weapons that I'm going to use that you didn't see me pick up, because I started this video with these weapons in my pocket. So in my shotgun slot, I had a Spaz 12 from the same Northern Ammunition on the Western Island. In my assault rifle spot, I had the M4, which you can get in the film studio behind the lunar lander. In the heavy weapon spot, I had the M60, which I got from one of the guard towers just inside the military base. And in my sniper slot, I had the sniper rifle. That's just what it's called. Got that one from the hedge maze over on Starfish Island. And even though the clock is ticking, we're on a shopping spree. So we're buying the pistol in the handgun slot, the Uzi in the SMG slot, the stubby shotgun in the shotgun slot, grab the grenades in the thrown slot, and then because my health wasn't great, grabbed the armor. I didn't realize I had a 3-star wanted level there. I thought I had only 2. And changing into the stupid spandex express outfit would have gotten rid of a 1 or 2-star wanted level, but it has no impact when you have 3 or more stars. So anyway, I think we're going to find a bribe star, just trying to get the police to be a little bit less aggressive towards me. And another thing we picked up at the mall was another melee weapon, because we've already used our melee weapon that we're currently holding. It was the bat, and so we picked up the katana at the Tarbrush Cafe. So yeah, this is what it looks like to try this challenge, and this is what Svibble was talking about, is like the clock is ticking the whole time, but you got to route in somehow all 32 of these weapons. All right, I think we're headed to the pay and spray. I failed this challenge many, many times, and the most common reason for me to fail was to get busted. I just didn't recognize how dangerous it was to have the police around, even if I have a real fast VCPD cheetah to get away from them. When I have a wanted level, like sometimes I'd have no door, and then they would just bust me instantly. Sometimes they would be standing right next to me, and I'd be out on foot, trying to kill one or more of these criminals, and a police officer would just knock me down and instantly bust me. And so this was weird here. That you can see there's a guy, a lone criminal on a motorcycle. I don't think I've ever seen this on any of my attempts of vigilante. Like, I've only seen cars, 1 car, 2 car, or 3 cars. And in this case, there's a single criminal on a motorcycle. Have you seen that? Let us know in the comments if you've seen that before. Okay, so we took out those criminals right there. We used the grenades on the first one, and then the sniper rifle on the second one. So while we continue merrily along, let me run through all 32 weapons, and I will break them up by slot, which kind of weapon each one is. So this next kill, I think, is going to be with an Uzi, but first we got to get him to get out of his vehicle. Okay, so there are 2 weapons that go in the, quote, hand slot. So there's just your bare fist, which you have by default, and then the brass knuckles, which I'll get later in this attempt. All right, so I think we're switching to the Uzi there. This is the thing we just bought at the North Point Mall. So we do our Uzi kill there, and then quickly switching to the stubby shotgun, which we also bought at the North Point Mall. And now we're heading over to the pistol, which we also bought at the North Point Mall. And all 3 of those replaced weapons that we started this attempt with, and then did a kill with each of those weapons, and then we bought replacements for them, and now we've done a kill with the replacement weapons. And then finally you saw us do a katana there, and yeah, and then we'll stop here at the pizza place and replace our melee slot, which is a katana, which is useless to me now, so we just grabbed the meat cleaver for future use. And I think we're going to pick up 2 more weapons before we do our next vigilante kill here. This is like the constant game that I'm playing, is finding, replacements for the weapons that I've just done a kill with. So we're going to grab a submachine gun over here. This is the Tech 9. And then I think next we're going to pick up the remote grenades, which will replace the weapon in our throwable slot, which is currently just grenades. Okay, let's keep going back to listing all the weapons. So like I said, in the hand slot, there's 2. It's the fist and the brass knuckles. The melee weapon slot has more than any other slot. It's 10. And Spibble was saying, hey, I Googled how many melee weapons there are, and there's a lot. It might not even be possible to do all the melee weapons because there's so many. Okay, so here are the 10 melee weapons: golf club, katana, meat cleaver, screwdriver, hammer, machete, nightstick, knife, baseball bat, and chainsaw. Moving on to the thrown weapons, there's 3 of them: the Molotov cocktail, the grenades, and you just saw us pick up the remote grenades here. Again, while the clock is ticking away, have to make sure we don't ever let time run out or the attempt fails. Now in the handgun slot, there's 2 weapons. There's the 357 and the pistol. In the shotgun slot, there's 3 weapons. There's the Spaz 12 and the stubby shotgun and something just called shotgun. In the SMG, the submachine gun slot, there's 4 weapons. There's the MP, the Uzi, the Tech 9 you just saw us pick up, and then finally the MAC, which we're going to grab at the Southern Ammunition later in this video. There are 2 assault rifles, the M4 and the Kruger. There are 4 heavy weapons in the game: the M60, the flamethrower, the rocket launcher, and the minigun. And finally, there are 2 snipers in the game. One of them is just called a sniper rifle, and the other one is the 308 sniper. Now, typically, I take the criminals out that are closest to me first, but I'm going to get wrecked by somebody with a shotgun, not the closer 2 women, but the one who's farthest away. Bam! And I lost a number of my attempts at this challenge by dying, just because I get, shotgun blasted, and as soon as I stand up, I get blasted again, and my health can go from 300 down to 0 real quick. Okay, so we took out the shotgun woman using our next weapon. That was the Tech 9, the SMG, and then a remote grenade, and then finally the meat cleaver. So that's another melee weapon down. And I'm just pointing that one out because there's 9 different melee weapons. So it's that's the one with the most weapons in any given slot. And so I'm constantly thinking about, where's my next melee weapon? Can I use the melee weapon to kill someone? And then how do I get my next melee weapon after that? Okay, so what are we doing with this? Oh, that was not the plan. So this is another reason I lost a bunch of my runs, is that I just lost my VCPD cheetah. I mean, it takes a lot of damage normally just from chasing these criminals around and me running into trees and buildings and me running into them, police officers running into my vehicle, and then me just being dumb and accidentally blowing up a criminal's car right next to mine. Fortunately, I assumed I was going to be dumb, and so I put a spare VCPD cheetah here into the Swanky Casa safe house, whatever it's called. I just, and you never know when you could use a spare VCPD cheetah. And I was real glad that I had put one there because you have only 60 seconds. Once you get out of a police vehicle on Vigilante, you have 60 seconds to get back into either your police vehicle or a different one. Anyone is fine. And so fortunately, I was less than 60 seconds away from being able to grab that VCPD cheetah there. And I think we're basically just gonna, let's see. So I'm really just, I don't have any weapons. I literally have no weapons in my 9 slots that I haven't used yet for a kill. So there's nothing I can do to further the challenge here other than just like give myself time by completing a level. And so right now I'm just thinking like, where can I pick up new weapons? And it was all in my spreadsheet, like the locations of all of the different weapons I was going to pick up. And so we're pretty close to the bunch of tools tool shop here on the left-hand side. So I think our next pickup is going to be something from this tool shop. Looks like we're going to grab the first thing, which is a screwdriver. So now we've got one weapon in our slot that we can use. And now we're heading over to chase down these criminals here and see if we can get a kill with our newly picked up screwdriver. And trying to get them out of their vehicle, but if they catch fire, oh my goodness, look at that. And you can see how quickly my VCPD cheetah went from full health, like that was the one I had just picked up from my safe house, to 0 health. All right, so I think I'm using the pistol here, but it doesn't count. I mean, I've already got kills with the pistol. So right now I'm just trying to like survive. And let's see. So there's the screwdriver kill that's going to happen here. But now I've got, 40 seconds or whatever. Ooh, machete. Got 40 seconds or whatever to get into a police vehicle. And I started like shooting random people, hoping that I could get 2 stars and then a police officer would come rescue me and I could steal his police car. But then it dawns on me that I'm not that far from the southern police station here. So fortunately, I was able to get to another police vehicle in time. But again, I lost several runs, some pretty deep runs in this challenge because I just lost my VCPD cheetah and couldn't get into another police vehicle in time. So there you go with 9 seconds left. And if those 2 police cars were locked, this would have been challenge fail. So now we have only one weapon on hand that we have not yet done a kill with, and that's the machete that we just picked up. So I'm going to quadruple speed a lot of the next bit of gameplay because it is going to be literally 3 full minutes before I go do another kill. So we're just going to shop and eventually find those guys wherever they are. So we'll pick up the Mac in the SMG slot. There's a shotgun in the shotgun slot. There's a Kruger in the assault rifle slot, and then we'll just grab the body armor because we're here. And then we're going to quadruple speed to our next shopping spree area. And actually got a little bit confused. I was going to pick up the knife here, but then I remembered, or I didn't remember, I saw in my spreadsheet that I already had a melee weapon that I hadn't used. That's the machete. So here we're grabbing the brass knuckles. And since we're not too far from our original safe house, which is the location of a bunch of weapons because we've collected all 100 hidden packages, we'll head upstairs and we will grab the sniper rifle replacement. So that's the 308 sniper, as well as the flamethrower. Once I get these folks out of their vehicle, you're going to see how far away I drive my police car from them. That isn't to protect Tommy's body, that's to protect the police car. Tommy's got plenty of health, but if this police car catches fire, then 60 seconds later, and it's probably challenge fail. Okay, so there's the 308 sniper, and then here's the flamethrower kill. We picked both of those weapons up over at our safe house, and now we're going to head over and chase the other criminals on this particular level, and use some of the newly acquired weapons that we just got on our shopping spree. Let me talk a bit about routing, because I haven't really done too much of that in this series. So the challenge was given to me by Svibble, and my first step was to write down in my spreadsheet all 32 of the weapons. So I went to the wiki and I found a listing of all 32 of the weapons, broke it down by type, and so I put all of those into my spreadsheet. And then I decided, kind of somewhat arbitrarily, that I was going to do Vigilante on the Eastern Island. I just think that it's good to not have all the gangs mad at you when you're doing Vigilante. So if you do it on the Western Island late enough in the game, oh my goodness, I'm upside down. If you do it on the Western Island, then the Haitians and or Cubans might be mad at you, and so that just means your police vehicle's getting shot at more, by those gang members, and also means that they're trying to pull you out of the car if you're going slow, and if you're on foot, trying to do a vigilante kill, then you get shot at and knocked down and whatever. So, oh my goodness, I'm on fire again. I need a replacement. It's just so bad. All right, there goes that police car. I'm still working on my challenge here, but the clock is ticking. Okay, so the next weapon we used was a Kruger. That was the assault rifle, and then this is the Mac kill right here. That's another SMG, and then I think we're going to use the shotgun, just called shotgun, and we're going to take out a pedestrian. That's an innocent victim. Sorry about that. And then the criminal. All right, so the shotgun is done, but I have no police vehicle to get into. So here I'm trying to get a 2-star wanted level. I'm thrilled to see a police officer because that'll be an instant 2-star wanted level. And just desperate to find a replacement. I've got no replacements ready. I've got 15 seconds left. Oh my goodness, somebody please show up. Oh, you, sir, you've won the prize. Thank you for playing. Okay, so with a whopping 7 seconds left, we had a police car delivered to us. That was outstanding. Could have gotten busted right here. Didn't. Oh my goodness. All right, we've lost the tire. Fortunately, there's a bribe star over here, so that'll get us down to 1 star, which will lead to 0 stars. But one big reason I prefer the VCPD Cheetah for this challenge is that you can take the VCPD Cheetah into the pay and spray, and you can't do that with the police car. So let's go ahead and grab a VCPD Cheetah, which is conveniently stored in the safe house garage as well. Yeah, before we started recording footage, I found 3 VCPD Cheetahs. I didn't find them. I got myself 3-star wanted levels and then stole them and threw them into the 3 garages. So you have seen all 3 of my VCPD Cheetahs in use in this video. I don't have any more, so I'm hoping I don't lose this one between now and the end of the challenge. Okay, looks like we're replacing stuff, so we're going to grab another heavy weapon. We've got the minigun here, and then we will have to make one more trip back, and then the chainsaw as well. That's our new melee slot. And we will have to make one more trip back into that safe house to grab the rocket launcher. That'll be our last heavy weapon. In fact, our last weapon of this attempt. And still plenty of time, 32 seconds. So the local shopping is okay. But when I lose my police vehicle, oh my goodness, that is scary times, gang. All right, so I had my spreadsheet, decided I was going to do Vigilante on the Eastern Island, and then I started to look at each of the 32 weapons and figure out where they were all located. So some of them you can purchase, some of them have fixed spawn locations around the map, and I just looked for the ones. Okay, so my first attempt at this was with my late game save file, my post 100% complete save file. And it was going fine. I don't remember which collection of 9 weapons I started with here. So that's my minigun kill. But really, I just wanted to build up my clock by finishing another level. So I did it on a post 100% complete save file, and it was going okay. And during one of my extended shopping trips, like a 3-minute shopping trip during the middle of Vigilante, the criminals had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to go from the Eastern Island, which is where we were doing Vigilante, over to the Western Island. And then I was screwed because all of my stuff in my spreadsheet told me where the weapons were located on the Eastern Island. All right, so again, here I'm just looking for more time. Just trying to complete a level to build my clock back up. So I've already got plenty of, minigun kills, but I'm feeling much better now that we're at, 10.5 minutes or so. Not thrilled that I think my VCPD Cheetah is smoking. That's not awesome, because if I lose this one, like I said, I don't have a replacement. I only had 3 to start this challenge. Okay, so then I decided I couldn't use my post, 100% save file because then they could go over to the Western Island, and my plans don't include the Western Island. Surely I could have made more robust plans and written down more locations of different weapons and things on the Western Island, but it had already taken like an hour and a half maybe to get my spreadsheet to a place where I was feeling good. Here, I'm not trying to eliminate all of the criminals on this level. I'm just trying to get down to one car because I think I've only got like two, maybe three weapons on me that I haven't used yet. And so I don't need all that many criminals to kill. So we get rid of the first few quickly with the minigun. And then once I get these folks out, then I will do my actual like kills that count. Okay, so I think we're gonna get shot up with the shotgun. So scary around my final VCPD cheetah here. And so I'm just kind of backing up because their shotguns can reach very far, like so. All right, so I think our next kill is going to be with the chainsaw. Does that sound right? And then maybe the brass knuckles. We had picked both of those up recently. Okay, there's the chainsaw, and then brass knuckles get some. I'm getting some. That machete is hurty. Okay, so that one's done. I don't think I have any other weapons on me that I can use. Maybe I do. I don't know. Oh, the machete. We have a machete now. Okay, so let's use that machete. That'll be our next kill. This person who's shooting at us. Well, so there's two folks shooting, but one has a shotgun. So we're going to take that person out with a sniper, which we've already gotten our sniper kill with this particular weapon. But the other person has a weaker gun, and so I'm going to go up close to that person with my melee weapon. The machete kill will be the next one. So coming back to the routing, I decided not to use my late game save file and instead went with an earlier game one and started to do attempts there, but realized that some of the weapons I intended to purchase at ammunition weren't available until you completed certain missions. So then I went to a mid-game save file. So the Starfish Island is open in this save file, but not the Western Island. And so that gave me enough weapons available for purchase over at the ammunition that I was happy. I think we have to go buy another melee weapon, right? So this is one of our last few. So we got to grab the hammer from right here. And I think all that's left after the hammer are the knife and the rocket launcher. But I can't grab the knife until I use the hammer to do a kill because, again, the knife and hammer are in the same slot. They're both melee weapons. And a couple of the weapons that I had routed in, I intended to pick up from the police station. Like there's the, the nightclub, nightstick thing. And then at the Malibu Club, the woman behind the bar has a stubby shotgun. And I learned something about the state of buildings when you're on Vigilante, and that's that they are closed. You literally cannot go into the police station or the Malibu Club, no matter how badly you want those weapons in there, if you're on Vigilante. So then I had to reroute and find another way to get my stubby shotgun. It was easy. It turns out that they sell it at the North Point Mall ammunition. And then the nightstick decided I needed to kill a cop in order to grab that. That was the plan for routing that thing in. Check out the satisfying hammer sound. Okay, gang, we are really getting close now. We have only two weapons left to do kills with. We've got the knife and the rocket launcher, neither of which we currently possess. So we're going to quadruple speed the trip to the safe house. And in here, we're going to switch out our current heavy weapon, the minigun, for the rocket launcher. That's the last heavy weapon we need to do a kill with. And then we'll quadruple speed the trip to the far south. There's this little nook here in this alley that has a fixed spawn knife. Gimme, gimme. So now we have the final two weapons we need in our back pocket. And we're going to fast forward in quadruple speed here, the trip to catch up to the next criminal. It took several attempts because I thought I got her out, but then she just changed cars to a healthy vehicle. And let me just talk one final thing about routing here. So I had my spreadsheet with all the different weapons and the different locations, and then I started to kind of group the weapons together. So in the North Point Mall, in the ammunition, you could buy 4 weapons for this challenge. And there was also the katana in the Tarbrush Cafe, so that was a 5th weapon. And then in the middle of the island here, we had like 3 different weapons, plus the ones in the bunch of tools. There were some fixed weapon spawns, like there's a Tech 9 behind some houses in a cul-de-sac, and then right next to the pizza place is the meat carver, and then a little bit east of the pizza place was the remote grenades, like right behind a building on the beach. And then we had our southern collection of weapons, including a bunch that were in our safe house down there, and 3 more that were in the southern ammunition, and then a few fixed spawn weapon locations that were just kind of in alleys in the far south. And then it was just a matter of practice and lots and lots and lots of fails, right? You're seeing my one success here, but it's not representative of the average attempt, which there were so many different reasons to fail. Almost failed here at the very end, blowing myself up, blowing my car up. I've got 55 seconds and no vehicle. Fortunately, I just need to hit one rocket to this car right here. Police officer, get out of the way. We are so close. Don't thwart my attempt. Bam! Success. I can't believe it. Holy cow, gang. That probably took, I'm going to guess about 10 hours, like 2 hours of rounding and 8 hours of failing before getting that success. So let me just read through the 32 weapons that we used in the order in which we did our kills. Golf club, Molotov fist, 357 nightstick, baseball bat, MP, Spaz 12, M4, M60 grenades, sniper rifle, Uzi, stubby shotgun, pistol, katana, Tech 9, remote grenades, meat cleaver, screwdriver, 308 sniper, flamethrower, Kruger, Mac, shotgun, minigun, chainsaw, brass knuckles, machete, hammer, knife, and finally, rocket launcher. Really enjoyed the routing process, kind of figuring out like what was the order in which I could do things. Enjoyed figuring out the improv style, the improv nature of this particular challenge, and had a lot of fun. Just even as I was failing, mostly from getting busted, sometimes running out of time, sometimes dying because I got repeatedly shotgun blasted by the criminals. Sometimes, my vehicle would blow up, the police vehicle would blow up, and I couldn't get another one in 60 seconds. Sometimes I accidentally stayed out of my living police vehicle for more than 60 seconds, just kind of losing track of time while I was on foot doing all my kills. But overall, had a really, really good time doing this challenge, even though it was like 8 hours of fails before I got my success here. It was a lot of fun. So thank you so much to Svibble for the challenge, and thank you all for watching, and we'll see you real soon.